my man got too familiar, and I ended up having to whip his ass, man, because, he would step across the line. Habitually, he's a habitual line stepper.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the HLS podcast. Late to the party, to that point. The podcast that never was. Radical Teddy and Friends. Haters loving science. Her latest seducers. Happy lingering side notes. And I'll figure out another one sometime. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
Well, we thought we had Scrota. And I'm Electric Nut.
And I'm Scrota, presently not on mute anymore.
Yeah. Welcome to our show, guys, where our intros
Welcome back.
are always
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
You welcome back. We were here. You were
Welcome back.
Bam. Oh, and look what I can do. We have a full audience now. But in your mind, you're clapping. So it works. All right. So we're going to, this is a potpourri episode, mainly because this has been a holiday weekend. This is in July 4th, Independence Day. However y'all celebrate or don't celebrate. I know for some of us it's having an abusive uncle's birthday. So a super wealthy abusive uncle whose house you live in.
We got a block party, and that thing was raw and uncut.
It was. I really expected your neighbors to say something at some point, and they didn't. And
What do you mean, to say what?
They are mad cool. Y'all went late. You know I could do
the
that.
neighborhood can't complain if the neighborhood's going late.
And if they're there.
The neighborhood was there.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think everybody was there because that was loud enough that the next blocks were definitely hearing y'all.
I told you the next blocks were present. The block party.
Oh, okay.
We on 4th Street there.
Oh, word? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I was like, y'all block had a party.
We also
y'all
have
was loud
one of the
enough that-
blackest streets.
Your block was mad cool. I like messing folks, and we were just kicking it and chatting it up. Brother was giving me tax law advice and whatnot. I was like, this is what's up.
Cat with the dreads?
Love you. No, apparently he's in IT. It was another brother. I was like,
So for those that don't know, every year on my street, we do a block party. And I live in a place that is surprisingly black. And we have this block party every year. And every year it seems to get better and better. This is the first year that Rebel has been to it. And the first year that Electric has been to it as well, too.
yeah.
And it was very entertaining. We had a real good time. We was dancing in the middle of the street. I learned the fan dance.
I learned 3 dances.
Yeah, for sure. We had a good time. We was up that time. I think at least 12, 15 or something. Everybody started going home.
I learned 2 dances and I don't dance.
Golly.
Thank you,
I
Scrota,
left it
for-
like 10 something.
Scrota ended up making me get out there and dance. He was like, nope, you got to get out there. Come on, you got to at least learn these dances. I was like, get out there.
Yeah.
Then I
Yeah,
tried
man,
to
you gotta
run
learn.
from the
Fun,
dance.
right?
I tried to run away from the dance, and Scrota's brother, who was the DJ, called me out. He was like, nah, get back in there. No, stop thinking about what everybody else is thinking. Get back in there. I was like, all right. Everybody's going to notice it's me. So let me just get back in there before everybody notices that he's talking to me.
Hey, you over there. Just in the denim suit.
Yo.
It's funny
Yeah,
too
man.
because there was enough people out there that you would think, it's a whole block, so there's room to dance. It was like, no, we were running out of room on the block.
Yeah, for real. Yo,
It wasn't packed, but it felt full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this street ain't wide enough, but it was comfortable.
So
the
it was
hardest
good.
part for me was because in those dances, you would rotate around. So at
Mhm.
a few points, I was the one all the way in the front. And I'm like, fudge. I'm like, I don't want to be in the front right now.
That's the thing. When you nervous and stuff, you always stay to the end. But on those little line dances, if you do that, you will always be in the front. So you actually have to do the counterintuitive thing and go into the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta
So if you're in
hide
the middle, then you're never in the front.
That's
Yep.
true.
You go in the back, you'll be in the back, but then all of a sudden you're gonna be in the front.
You'll be in the back for 3 turns.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it was great. It was awesome. And to that point, it felt like having a lot of mini versions of this because the three of us were there and random guest opinions within this. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And we finally got to game and have other people watch. That was fun.
He's on.
That was the day before. Remember?
No.
When we played Split Fiction and your Twitch, and Jade from Virgo Season was watching. Shout out to Virgo Season.
Hey, I appreciate it because I finally streamed after God knows how long. I haven't streamed in a minute, so it's good to get back in.
Exactly.
We also need to finish that game as well too.
Yeah. And we played Divers. It was a big HLS weekend.
Words of
It's always a big HLS weekend with us.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So to that point, that was good. I like.
What we got? What's up for today?
Oh, so much. Electric, which of the many topics were you most interested in? Because there's so much. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot.
You absolutely meant to do that.
Yeah.
Just like I put you on the spot. That was intentional also.
It's you know how some folks are like, oh, hey, like, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat? I'm really saying it to be kind because I don't want to be like, hey, let's eat this without getting crew opinion.
No, go ahead. You can say, let's eat this. I'm down. I'm not a picky eater.
I think we were going to talk about the idea that you said that you wanted to talk about was gaming. And because that's how really like we all like, not we all, but that's how we most recently have gotten together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that could have been an awesome segue going from you Twitch streaming to speaking of gaming.
That's what you were doing.
I really wasn't. I usually am more present of mind about that, but my mind is on vacation because I have the next 2 weeks off. So I'm not doing anything. And my goal for this vacation is to do as little as possible, apparently including think.
But not including podcasting.
What I do. No. Yeah.
Okay.
And to your point, what I do plan to do is play a whole bunch of video games. So whenever y'all are ready, let me know. To that point, I feel like I haven't been gaming that much. When we're like, we game so much, like, how much do we really game? If you had to put an hour number per week on it, how many hours do you think you game?
Well, we actually can look that up.
I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this part.
No, okay. So the other day, we're playing Overwatch, and Overwatch is one of the main games that me and Electric play. And
For
there's
people
a
that
thing.
Don't know, explain the game. It's like a
Overwatch is a 5v5 first person and third person and 6v6 hero based shooter. It requires a lot of teamwork, a lot of cooperation. There's a lot of very interesting original characters, and it's fun.
Like a cartoony Call of Duty.
No.
With superheroes.
Yeah.
It's more hero based. So there's like superheroes with superpowers and stuff. It's fun. Anyway, there's a feature on there that allows you to look at how much time you've spent playing on certain characters or how much time you spent playing on the entire game. And Electric looked at his amount of time that he played, and I looked at my time that I played, and I was like, wow, that's a lot considering I only started playing this game about 2.5 years ago. Electric started playing this game about 40 years, and I'm not that far behind him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Electric, but made this point where I was like, dang, that's a lot of time.
Then that's like too much time. If I spent that much time doing anything else, then it's almost like it felt like it was a waste of time. And I disagree completely. My kids right now are playing probably too much video games, and they're not spending more time doing other things because it's school's out. And to the point where they're starting to lose some of their other abilities. And my wife was like, I like video games. They like do this to you. They do that to you. And we got to look at the effect on video games on kids. And I'm like, yo, it's not the video games. I think video games has for the longest time gotten a bad rap for violence and violent video games, or video games rot your brain and stuff like that. And even my brother has some pretty strong opinions on video games and why they're not good for you. But I completely disagree. I think video games are, much like anything else, are very good as long as it's controlled and regulated. Some of the same people that think that video games are violent watch super violent movies and shows and listen to music that does other things as well too. So I think video games just is an easy target, and a lot of time spent on a video game might be positive time and relaxing time.
Yeah. Also, it depends on the video game, because there are games that, yes, are the equivalent of Brainrot, but there are also games that make you smarter. and challenge you and develop your coordination, your ability to like process cause and effect. And many of them also involve game theory. Hell, even like as simple as inside Helldivers, you and I play rock, paper, scissors. Right? Now, granted, we could be across the world, wherever, but we're playing rock, paper, scissors inside of this video game because that's just one of the little functions that they built into the game. So there are some people who never play rock, paper, scissors. But what the point is, I'm trying to outthink you, outthinking me while we're playing this.
Very
And that
unsuccessfully.
thing, I
Yo,
overthink.
he's done it. He like rarely ever beats me.
I know. I'd get into a whole like, he knows I'm going to do this, so then I have to do this, but then
It's game
I know
theory.
he knows that I'm going to do that. And exactly. And it gets to the point where I've talked my way back to the thing that I originally knew that you were going to do and thus fell right into your trap. So the only times that I beat you are when I just go complete chaos.
Electric, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Why was that your reaction when you saw your time?
It was a ridiculously high amount of hours, man. Over 1,000 hours in a game. If I applied that time to learning a new skill, I would be on my way to becoming a master at it. Right? I could have learned 3 new skills with all that time. So I was just like, yo, what am I doing? I'm in a good place in my life where I have a good skill set, but still, like, you can always continue learning and growing. So that kind of made me feel like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, not only just a skill set, also spending time with people I care for and stuff like that.
What would
You
be a
are.
good amount of time, right?
To play video.
Like, what would be amount of time that after, as long as you've been playing this game, that when you checked, you looked at the time and okay, that sounds about right. What would have not given you that reaction?
If it averaged an hour a night.
How long you been playing the
In the
game?
course of the time.
How long you been playing the game?
Ooh, it's COVID, I think. 2025.
For 5 years?
Yeah. 5-6 years now.
So that averages out to less than an hour a night.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
So an hour a night
Like,
for
I'm-
4 years, for 5 years is 1,825 hours.
Yeah, but I know
you're nowhere
I
near
don't
that.
play an hour a night.
You also don't play every day.
You don't play every day.
That's true.
So part of it is also leisure. Because to your point, I could have been doing this, that, and the third with that time. It's yeah, but like we just said, you don't play every night. So there are other nights that you are doing productive things. There are nights where you're just straight up working. You work out, you do other productive endeavors. Right now, you could be gaming, but you're here with us.
True story.
The amount of time that you spend gaming
Yeah,
is your
and that,
we all need to rest. We all need to have entertainment and leisure. That's your free time. And
I think that
to your
stigma-
point, you could be
sorry, go ahead.
spending it with other people. You do. We literally all met. Not we
yesterday
all, but
party at a block party.
yeah. And you spend time with us gaming too. You spend time with your child gaming.
That's true.
I spend time with my kids gaming. Some of my favorite bonding time is with my kids gaming as a family.
I think that stigma of games are bad makes us feel guilty when we see stuff like that, but we don't necessarily put it in context. You know what I mean? 1,000 hours is 41 days. 41 days over the course of 5 years sounds horrible. But if you look at how much time you spent doing other things, right? How much time have you spent at work during that amount of time? It probably dwarfs 1,000 hours. You know what I mean? So you're working for 15,000 hours or whatever, but you're spending 1,000 hours gaming. It's okay. What's the big deal? I just think that a lot of people just have, and including some gamers, have a lot of negative feelings about it. And it bothers me a little bit. Like my niece and nephew were playing Fortnite, and they were force stacking on Fortnite, and they were just arguing, blaming each other for everything, just arguing, right? And at first, I'm looking at it like, dude, this game is bringing out the worst out of y'all because y'all are like, they're basically brothers and sisters. But I'm like, oh, it's because y'all don't know how to work together. So I sat there. I said, we're gonna do a battle royale, and at the end of every battle royale, we're gonna sit down and talk about what went wrong, what went right, what went wrong. everybody's quick to blame each other. Started telling people, hey, you got to look for cover. You can't blame somebody for doing this. You got to do this. They started working together, and they started actually getting to the point where they're actually winning battle royales more regularly. And so at the end, they were high-fiving each other, like clapping up for each other, giving, hey, nice this, nice that, because they got a chance to figure out how to work for each other. And they got a chance to figure out how to not think of just themselves in a chaotic situation. And as long as those things there's some benefit, and as long as you're doing it for leisure and that's being balanced with everything else you do, I don't know what the problem is. When you say brain rot games, well, what's an example of a brain rot game?
Those games that you just swipe left, swipe. What's the name? Subway
Surfer.
Surfer.
You think that's a brain rot game?
Or Candy Crush.
You think it's a brain rot game?
I don't think Candy Crush.
I think that's as close as we get to brain rot games. I can't think of a game that is less mentally intensive than.
Have you played Subway Surfers?
Yeah.
It's very mentally intensive.
No, it is not.
How long have you played Subway Surfers?
Long enough to know that it's not hard.
Okay. You haven't played it long. Subway Surfers gets very hard very quickly.
That's not mental difficulty. That's thumb reaction time.
Which is based off of what?
Go
ahead. Go on. Oh, yeah, fit.
How much I work out my thumbs.
You have to think about what you're doing and react. That's mental strain. That's why some people. A lot of games don't have that to that high level of intensity. Subway Surfer gives you a very little amount of time to react. And listen, I'm not championing Subway Surfers as like the best game on the planet, but I'm saying those games are very pressure based, and you have to do things in the moment on the spot, which is a different type of mental drain than like The Legend of Zelda. You understand?
Yeah, but that, like we said, that's a different type of game. So to that point, what game do you think is the least mental?
I don't know, but the brain rot game, that wasn't my vocabulary. That's what I was asking you, because I don't know what game is a brain rot game. Maybe one exists, but I don't really know what game is. Now, I don't like Subway Surfers or Candy Crush or Farmville. I think those games are stupid. But that's just my preference. Doesn't mean those are bad games. You know what I mean?
Why do you think they're stupid?
Because they're not interesting to me. They don't challenge me in the way that I want to be challenged.
Speaking of,
but I'm sure there's someone out there that's, man, you understand? I have a whole Farmville economy going on here.
Yeah, and that's great. And that's great for them. I think that's great. If they like that game, they should play it.
And to that point, I'm sure there's people who are like, oh, Subway Surfers is the hardest game, but to each their own. We all have different like levels of challenge and whatnot. And
correct.
To our point, there's a lot of people who cognitively cannot play some of the games we play.
Hold on. You just switched points.
No, I didn't.
That was my point. And then you said to that point, and then you said to our point. And you said, yeah, that's my point. You did it again.
I think I've always said.
You did it. No, you did it again.
I think I always said that there's different levels of game, and there's brain rot games and mentally challenging games.
My point is that there is no brain rot games, because to each their own.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I still disagree.
Okay, now you're okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So we will agree to disagree in that they may not be brain rot games to someone. They're challenging, but they don't challenge us. It's like math.
No, I didn't say it didn't challenge me. I said it doesn't challenge me in the way I want it to be challenged.
But the same thing.
Subway Surfers is challenging.
We don't have our kids do math below their level, like habitually, because it's like, hey, you need to learn this higher level math.
I do.
Well, I mean, you want them to challenge themselves.
Yeah, but I also want them to drill and get better at the things that are supposed to be easy, so they're even faster at. So they do like lower level math also as part of their drills. We got like these 2-minute drills where here's 50 like single digit addition problems. You have a minute to do it, 30 seconds to do it.
Yeah, I heard you. For speed, I heard. Yeah, I get you. I get that.
And we do that habitually.
I don't know. I still wouldn't feel good about my kid playing like Subway Surfer for a long time.
Why?
Because I'm like, there are better games
Yeah.
to challenge you. And this game is not challenge you. It's just eating up your time.
What if it is challenging them? If they get to a really
Please,
high
man.
level of Subway no, if they ever get to, listen, Subway Surfers, it's like Tetris.
There's-
It gets more difficult and faster the longer you play it.
Yeah.
So I get
it.
but definitionally and programmatically will get more
Then I'd
challenging.
rather than play Tetris. Because Tetris, I can't tell you how many times I've been packing and used Tetris skills. I use Tetris skills all the time. Hell, my wife habitually tags me in to do Tetris in real life situations, and literally says, "Hey, Tetris this."
So Electric,
That's how she says
do you
it.
think are there any useless games? Or like Brainrot games that are just generally bad for people?
There are. Actually, there was a game that I saw that got canceled on Steam recently. And basically the character was SAing people in the game. And that's the whole mission of the game, to just SA people. And
You mean like Leisure Suit Larry?
I don't know the name of the game, but it was on Steam for 2 or 3 weeks and it got canceled. Like, legit, there's no going around it. That is the goal of the game. And the game was like really dark. And I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
how did they put this
It's
game out
called
there?
No Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, no good can come of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this is recent. This is does it say when it got canceled?
Yeah.
They just
Like
recently took it
a
off.
month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says all reviews very positive. No Mercy is a 3D voice-driven adult visual novel with a huge focus on incense, like the smell, and male domination. After your mother's affair shatters your family, you take a new role to fix what is broken, but to claim her for yourself. Oh my goodness.
Yo, that's really crazy. Whoever thought, hey, let me develop this game is a sick individual.
Oh, you know what? This is one of those Unity text games.
So can we agree there are bad games?
Yeah.
Yes, there are bad games. There are bad games that are inappropriate games.
And most of them are on
Yeah.
PC because you don't find this kind of stuff on console. If you go onto Steam and start looking for stuff,
Sony,
you will find
Sony don't want them
stuff
problems.
on Steam. And it's crazy.
Microsoft don't want those problems either.
Steam has porn games. Like, it's so
Epic is even worse.
epic. Like,
The Epic Game Store is even worse.
Are you serious?
Oh, it's horrible. Because they want to be like Steam.
So
And so they want
everything?
everybody to come to their platform. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Epic is really bad. And then also on Epic and GOG, if we're talking about bad games, okay, we're talking about games that are bad for people. They have a lot of games that are like crypto games, and they'll have a picture of a sexy woman on it or something like that. And the game it's not even a game. Like, it's not even, they bring you on there so that you can see a sexy woman or whatever. They say, oh, you have to load your crypto wallet with A, B, and C. And then there's basically no game. It's like an unfinished game. They just use it to steal money.
Wow.
There's another game on Steam that got pulled. It's called Grape Day.
We already know it.
Yep. On the flip side, I like to play games that are essentially like movies, but somewhat choose your own adventure.
Oh my gosh.
And those are very entertaining to me. Red Dead Redemption 2,
Yes.
oh, chef's kiss. Oh my God. That game, like I said, got me through the pandemic. I've said this before. People were ever like, oh, we're all trapped inside. I said, not me. I'm roaming the plains of Ambarino, Texas. I'm outside, horseback, looking at mountains.
While you were there, I was
breathing
in
fresh air.
I was in Asgard and Midgard with my son.
Having fatherly bonding moments.
God of War got me through as well too. I'm still upset you haven't finished but watching that one, playing that.
Both of those games were excellent.
I'm actually saving it.
For what?
Boy.
Yo,
For what?
This vacation. This is one of the games I want to pick up again now that I'm like now that I have time, and now that I know my son won't just randomly come in, see a monster, and then have nightmares. We played some Jackbox game where like he was an alien, and then he had nightmares for the next month, and it was like
There weren't even any visual aliens.
there were no visual aliens. And who gets chosen to be an alien is completely random, but he was one of the two that got chosen to be an alien, and from that point on,
You said, "Am I
didn't
an
want to be left
alien?"
alone. Yep. And like he went from, hey, I need my privacy, go away. Hey, go away. You can go downstairs. I don't need you to come with me. Come with hold my hand. And I was like, oh, you got traumatized by this Jackbox game. It's okay. But now he's back to, okay, I need my privacy. I'm good. So we're past it again. But last thing I need is him seeing some medieval, well, it's not even medieval. It's
Grape
like
Day.
great. Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
fear. I don't
some
want to have to.
monster.
I'm just afraid. I'm just terrified that one day I might have to explain to my son what a BJ is. Just I don't want to do that. But I'll do it at some
Was
point.
it ever explained to you by your parents?
No, but I'd rather explain it than anybody else, to be honest.
All right, there you go. Yeah. But that's not going to come from video games unless they're playing Grand Theft Auto.
Which they won't. They're like, hey, can we play like the sandbox version of Grand Theft Auto? That's like a sandbox and
Nope.
all that stuff's pulled out of it. And I was like, there is a way you can make it fine, but no, I gotta do too much stuff like to do that. No. If you gotta do all that stuff to
Exactly,
fund
no.
a game, then it's no. I'm not doing it.
And
But
to this point, I think so much of, kids and video games, as you were saying, there's movies too. Some of this just goes back to parenting. Are you watching what your kids are playing? Yo, you should play the game too. Like,
bro,
your kid
I
is-
watch what my children watch. If my children start picking
Of
up on a
course.
show, I will watch it. I'll either watch it with them or I'll watch it on the side.
Yep.
So my boys don't curse. They actually don't really, they get uncomfortable when people are cursing too much. They're watching
Mhm.
Blue Lock. It's a soccer show. It's a soccer anime. And there's a good amount
Mhm.
of cursing in Blue Lock. When I say cursing, I mean, they say it's like the mid-tier cursing. So they have the S's, the B's, not
Right.
just the
Yeah, 'cause
hells and the
anime's not
damns, but
necessarily for kids.
yeah. And I felt comfortable with them watching this because they watch also Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Super had a little bit more profanity in it than normal. But I know that they can handle that kind of stuff without emulating it too much. And there's a rule. If I catch you emulating it, we're done. That's no more anime, period. Like no more anime. So you really, and
That's
even if I catch you doing it while I'm not there and I hear it over here, you're done. So just know if that's the words you want to be using. And so they'll tell my brother, they'll tell me, hey, keep it clean when people curse. They'll accidentally play a song with profanity on Spotify, whatever the rundown says, hey, dad, I do that on purpose, man. And so we were watching Blue Lock, and somebody was like, hey, man, is this cool? Because there's some profanity in this show. And their kids were there also. And they're like, I mean, it's PG-13, right? And I was like, yeah, but there's profanity. They're cool to watch a PG-13 movie show for your kids. I'm like, yeah, the PG stands for parental guidance. It's like the parent can decide if it's okay for that particular kid or not, because it might not be cool for everybody. And so they started cursing, and they started saying B's and H's and stuff like that. Is this good for kids? And I was like, look, man, the story is actually good for the kid. The story is actually pretty good. And all the people who curse are bad people. Everyone who curses is a bad person. So I'm like, look, you could be judgmental on it, but the way that I do it is it's done for a reason. There's taste, and I sit there and I watch it with them. So I know what they're watching. I know what they're doing. But other people, they'll be critical on what your kids are doing and watching, but they sure as hell don't watch what their kids watch. They don't watch it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you watch that? It's no, you can't watch that around here. So you got
Or vice versa. Like they let their kid play whatever. And it's like, yo. Like, hey, you've been in that situation where you're playing and you're like, wait a second, I'm hearing a young kid playing this game. Where are your parents?
Bro, some of these games that my kids are exposed to from these other kids, like when they're at school or these like summer programs, like they were watching Poppy Playhouse and they were like 3 and 4. I'm like, no, Poppy Playhouse is scary to me. Which, by the way, Electra, we still have to play the game.
Poppy
My
Playhouse
daughter is old
that game
enough.
is terrifying.
It's terrifying.
She's old enough that she knows it's not real. She understands some developer had to code this and blah, blah, blah. And so she enjoys watching it, but she doesn't play it herself. She enjoys
Nah, bro,
watching
it's different.
other people play it. Exactly.
It's
And that's
not
what I'm
scary
saying.
to watch.
She's
It's not scary to watch, but I know that
exactly
playing it is terrifying.
terrifying. Exactly. I don't let her
Mm.
play it, but I'm fine with her watching YouTube videos of other people reviewing it or going through the game, which is also funny because I'm like, you're never going to play this game because all the plot's gone. Like, you've seen the entire story at this point, so there's no fun for you. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
there are other games that I think just every time, like, oh, this is game of the year, a lot of times these are, you know how people are like, they're not making good movies anymore? Some of these games,
Because they're being pulled into there.
whoever wrote some of these games needs to like hit up the scripts, man. Because like you said,
No, they don't. They don't. And the reason that they don't is because that whatever idea they're going to have is going to get bastardized by Hollywood. If they want that idea to come out in the best form they have it, the best way they got to do it is get it picked up by a gaming studio that's actually going to actually put the time and effort into it. There's a lot of judgment from older generations that look at games as being like childish or like a waste of time. But like their resistance to actually embrace the art form that doesn't acknowledge this as like a legitimate art form and like cultural impact of the game. And games have evolved that it's not just some type of like niche hobby or like some kind of thing that people do, but it's like super mainstream. I lived in Los Angeles, and when the esports came there, they sold out the Staples Center in minutes, the Staples Center.
oh yeah,
And so as we start seeing like more increased recognition of games and like media and education, people even use it for therapy. I think the people that still have that old guard, old way of looking at it are like really just depriving themselves on like really just being aware and how the landscape is changing around them, and they get stuck there and they'll miss that. And they'll cut off those opportunities for the people around them who they can influence.
yeah. And to go ahead, because I hear you're about to say something.
Like how
But
you
you're-
mentioned how Hollywood would mess up like movies, and it's better if the gaming studios just did the movies. You got to think about The Last of Us. They did a great job on the show, with the exception of Hollywood selecting that actress to play Elle. It just made no sense to select the actress that they selected to play that character. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw like the memes online about how people hated who the character was.
They were hating her because they thought she was like ugly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, why were they hating?
She came off goofy as hell too. Like it didn't feel like Elle at all.
yeah, all of the stuff that I saw was just even before the show was that she was like ugly or something. And I think that's yeah, because like they haven't even like, if she's a bad actress, okay, cool, but she's a bad actress. But
She's not. She was from Game of Thrones, man.
No,
She wrecked it on Game of Thrones.
There's a difference. She played a different kind of character in Game of Thrones, but when the character that she was playing as Elle, like she came off like really childish and goofy. Like it was weird, like seeing her play Elle.
I'm not familiar with
I-
Last of
yeah,
Us. I don't do.
I have it. I need to play it because I want to watch it.
I play it, then watch the show, and then let me know what you think about it. I'm curious to see your opinion on it.
Were you raged when they announced it? Because people were flipping out when they announced it.
Oh, no, I was curious to see, like, when they announced it, I was like, yeah, there's no physical similarity. But then there wasn't a physical similarity between Pedro Pascal and Joel in the from the game. But
Right.
he made it.
But he's a
work.
man. But he's
He
a man.
convinced us. You know,
No, but he's a man.
I don't know
'Cause
what
people
you're
are flipping-
getting off.
people-
That. That's a weird comment.
So what I mean by that is that Pedro Pascal being a man, when they announced him for being this, and again, I don't know the characters, but I know that when Pedro Pascal was announced as to be a character in there, no one was losing their shit over him. And people usually aren't very up in arms about miscasting of male figures, but they get super up in arms about miscasting female figures before the show has even come out. A lot of the comments that I saw online was that she wasn't pretty enough. And I was like, okay, this, first of all, it's like a little girl. So first, that's just super weird, right? But a lot of time, but try to think of any time that you had people get super up in arm upset about a casting selection. And then 9 times out of 10, it's a female character.
Yeah.
People don't get upset about male character miscastings, especially when even when they're like ridiculous.
I'm thinking of one right now,
That's not
and
true.
I'm still upset about it. When I don't know if it was a rumor or it was true or not, but I remember when they announced Idris Elba possibly being the next James Bond, and the internet went crazy, and like they were like, "Nope, never mind."
Because
Well,
he's
that was racism.
Because he's black. Idris Elba's a good.
I
Listen,
would
Idris
have
Elba's a good.
loved
make
to
an
see him
amazing
as
Bond.
James
He's
Bond.
he's a good actor, and he's British,
Yeah.
and he's attractive. That's the whole James
Fuck
Bond
that one
thing.
up.
He would make an amazing James Bond.
So yeah, people let their bias and their racism, their sexism show their ass on things like that. I don't like
Even-
Idris Elba. Don't like him, but he's a good
They
actor.
even toyed with it in one of the films where 07 was a different person because Bond was away.
Oh, they
I
made
thought it
her.
was
What's
good.
her name? What's her name?
Yeah.
And she would have been an amazing 07.
Yeah.
But then they like, oh, I hated how they wrote her in that movie. Oh, I hated
Yeah.
it. What's her name? Forgot her name.
Yeah.
They
But
made
to
her
your
like
point,
a
then they-
weak, like damsel in
they punked out.
distress. Sucked. Yeah, they punked
Exactly.
out. They punked out hard.
Yep. Oh, Hollywood. Which again goes back to why these games, man. Like, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. The game is amazing. Like, you can't tell me I'm not about to save feudal Japan from the Mongols. But the story is highly interesting. And to your point earlier about like community, we've made friends, like friends, playing video games. There's cats that I've been playing with since 2014 on some of these games. I've seen their kids like in real life, like we've met up, but also when we first started playing together, their kids were like 8 or 9 or whatever, and now their kids are like in college and playing with us, like carrying the team. So it's amazing the type of community we've been through, like marriages. Some fat cats have been through like divorces. I've had my kids and been congratulated by my gaming crew and whatnot. So yeah, there's a whole
Literal tragedy, growth, loss, friggin'
Yeah.
everything.
for real.
I mean, if it wasn't for gaming, we literally wouldn't even have this podcast. So
Facts. Is we all use our gamer tags.
sometimes.
Yeah.
There's one thing I notice about gaming though, and I don't know if it's. Let me think about this because I'm trying to compare Call of Duty also. But notice there's a lot of. Do you call it? Would we call it like mental health?
Yep.
Or there's so many people with like depression, anxiety, autism, ADHD, and it's so prevalent in our gaming community.
Yeah.
Because I don't walk around the world and meet people that talk about their mental health the way that I've been exposed to it while gaming.
Yep. Not only mental health, because to Electric's point, we meet people from all walks of life. They have all types of abilities, disabilities, like conditions, whatnot. And so we learn things as we're talking to them. They learn things talking to us. Then you also, like we were talking about racism. I've had conversations where like I've completely schooled folks that were racist and been like, no, that's not what that is. This is how this goes. And they're like, oh, huh. I didn't know that, because they're having a conversation with someone that they wouldn't usually talk to.
Yep.
Via this game.
Yeah. The anonymity and the like loss of like tangibility between like somebody being actually there enables you to say or do things that you normally wouldn't do. Now that oftentimes manifests in a lot of toxic behavior, right? But also the opposite of that is being able to talk to somebody who is very oblivious to certain political, racial, societal, economic, financial, job-related kind of topics that they've never would have even entertained a conversation with somebody that's in their echo chamber. There is an established link between neurodivergence and gaming. And a lot of the reasons they said is because it's like the agency that gaming gives you, the ability to control what happens or feel like you're in direct control of what happens, for better or for worse. High stimulation. A lot of people, I have ADHD myself, like being stimulated because their brain is always moving hyperactive. So sometimes we're looking for environments that give us something for our brain to keep up with. And then also
or challenge.
just also to escape having the social or the whatever, like pressures or expectations. Because when you're gaming, you don't have that expectation from other people. And the people that you do meet, do decide to open them and talk to, they're not expecting much of you other than just to play with them. That's the only real expectation.
I tell you what else too. There's a lot of people that I am glad are getting their rage out in the game as opposed to in real life.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't get that. Just because I
Well,
don't get my rage, I get it, but I don't get how people get rage out through games or sports. I was never able to do that. And I know that's a thing people do. I just don't get it.
Have you ever played to the point where you were tired and you're like, okay, I'm done. I got to go take a break?
Never.
You've never played till you were tired. Word. Come on now.
No,
But my point is,
yeah.
all that energy is spent in the game. So it's like now this person doesn't have time to go build whatever craziness they might have unleashed on the rest of us. And same thing. Who knows who they were talking to? They might have learned, oh, snap. You know what? Maybe I was wrong about this, that, and the third. So, cool. I don't have this rage anymore. Because I was misinformed and had tons of energy. Now I'm done. I'm tired. Not that crucial to me anymore. So, yeah, I think games help a lot with that, too.
I think that's what Electric said earlier. He said that you never seen so many people talk about like their mental health issues or struggles. Especially as a man, we don't talk about that stuff a lot. And it's hard to talk about those things. Again, I think the only real expectation that you have as a gamer when you're playing with other people is that they will just play the game with you. And then you'll try to accomplish whatever goal that the game has set out for you. Nothing, not really ask anything of more of my teammates than to just stay on the damn payload and don't C9. And for the most part, that's pretty easy to do, right? So if a person's going through something and you can't talk to your brother, the person that's gonna sit there, you have to actually look at, stay in a room and they'll see your legs shake and stuff like that. It's a lot easier to talk to somebody who isn't really gonna probably care too much about your vulnerability and just have the talk, answer the question, or literally just shut up and let you say stuff to them, let you vent as you wait in queue, and then boom, oh, we're in a game, and then you go and blow stuff up real quick, and then you got a little bit of that release. It's not like gamers are the only ones, or I'm not saying you're saying this, but it's like it can feel like gamers are the ones that are having all these issues. It's not. I think these issues are had by a lot of people, but gamers are the ones that are more likely to talk about those things to their gamer friends than regular people in the regular world. The normies are to talk to their friends in the normal world.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I have plenty of guy friends that I've had like real conversations with. And what I just thought about when you said that, like,
but you have plenty of guy friends. That's the difference.
There's
you
a
have
lot
plenty
of
of guy
friends
friends.
have that.
Yeah, but
most people don't.
Okay, I will agree with
Or
that
many
point.
people don't.
But what I was getting to is that these guy friends that I've had these conversations with, they discuss like their feelings about shit. Yo, I feel fucked up about this. I'm depressed about that. And this is like a bunch of different guy friends that I have that they actually open up and talk about their feeling. A lot of times people say that guys don't really talk about it, but almost all of my guy friends opened up and talked to me about like how they feel depressed, how they feel about this, how fucked up they feel. And it's like people that and it ranges too. It's like people that don't really have much to people that have everything. Like it's a broad range of people that feel the same exact feeling, but not too many of them open up about, oh, I'm autistic, I'm ADHD. But while I'm gaming, it always has to come up. Like it's always, oh, I'm autistic, I'm this, like, and I don't know. I just find it like in the gaming community, they're a little different in that regard, where they're just willing to just put it out almost as a badge.
But like I do think there is some of that
when they do that.
I do think people do that, and I definitely know what you're talking about. I will say that again, it's not surprising to me that your guy friends do open up about stuff because you have a very healthy network of guy friends. You've heard about people talk about the epidemic of loneliness, especially male loneliness. A lot of people don't have friends. Like most people don't have friends.
And
Most people can't.
I agree with
Most
that.
people can't name a single friend.
Yeah.
And so you have friends that are willing to open up, but also the gaming community is very densely populated with neurodivergent people. Very densely populated with neurodivergent people.
And that's what
So
I've
it's like,
observed, yeah.
yeah. And so that's why you're seeing more people talk about in the gaming community than your group of friends, because the percentage of your group of friends that are neurodivergent is more than likely significantly less than the percentage of your gamer friends that are neurodivergent.
Yeah.
And your real life friends are opening up and talking about their problems, which are non-neurodivergent issues. But your gamer friends are talking about their real life problems and their neurodivergent issues.
And there's the anonymity.
Yeah.
So it's not like...
It helps them create a safe space, you think?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that these people found a place that they can go to and just be comfortable and try their best to be themselves, because even there, like, they get judged and stuff like that. And we've seen it. We've heard it. Like, when someone's not around, they're like, oh, this person's on. Like, you can just hear the grumbles sometimes. And it's like, damn. I guess there's no escaping. What is the word I'm looking for? I guess when people judge you, it starts with a C, and I can't think of it. All right, anyway.
Say the word.
I can't think.
Say the sentence. Say the sentence.
If you can't escape, like, I can't think of it. It's like when people have their judgment about you. There's really, you think that's a safe place, but it's not really a safe place. These people are hoping this could be the place where they can just be themselves, but then people are still judging them there.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what word you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah. And it's also interesting, like, there's people that come from all walks of life that gravitate towards gaming because, like, all right, we touched on that part, the neurodivergent community and any other kind of disability, that mental disability that somebody may have that might gravitate to gaming, and, you know, people that are just cool, people that might just be angry, such as Call of Duty players.
Disability.
Fuck, we can't say anything nowadays. What's the word I have to use? What's politically correct then?
It's not about politically correct. I'm not disabled.
I don't know how better else to say it. Help me out here.
Any other mental health condition, neurodivergence?
Okay.
I'm sure some people do have mental disabilities, but I don't know if you were talking about just those people.
I'm just trying to say
anyone who's cuckoo in the head.
No, not crazy. I'm trying to say when I applied for my job, they said put a disability, ADHD, right?
Shit, I'll put that down.
I put that down. Yeah.
I don't.
You should.
I don't.
You should.
I don't. Why?
I don't know. Protects you from getting fired. I don't know.
Nah, might not get me in. When I'm in there, I'll say that. When I'm in, I'll tell them that, but not right now. Shoot.
I get more time on my tests for that.
Yo. Hey, don't worry. He turned a little late, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not writing that down at all during the interview. You ain't tricking me, bro. No. My name is a red flag enough.
And then also, I legit put that on my job application. That was fine. But that's just me. Also, like, that stigma about gamers being losers and stuff, too. That's another topic to touch. And I can tell you that I know so many people on gaming where it ranges from people that are still in school to people that are doing great and have really good high-paying careers that are still gaming hardcore. I just want to dead that stigma, just in case.
What stigma?
That the gamers are losers. A woman hears a guy gaming, they're gonna think, oh, this guy got nothing going on for him. He probably lives in his mom's basement or something on games. And it's no, there's a lot of high earners that game all the time. It's a stress release for them.
According to the Entertainment Software Association, approximately 61% of Americans are gamers, which is like 190 million people. The average gamer is 36 years old and has been gaming for about 17 years. Nah.
Jeez Louise, man.
And people be surprised about the gender demographics and split as well too.
Yes.
There are way more gamers that are female than people think.
Yep.
Like it's just shy of half.
Do you have a statistic for that?
In the globally, it's 45% of all gamers are female. In the United States, female gamers make about 48 to 49%.
Look at that.
It's just shy of half. And that's not surprising to me because I game. But when you think of the gamer, you're thinking about the fat, white, nerd, unattractive, lives with their parents that are in the basement not doing anything all day. And that's why it's an unattractive hobby to have. But that's not what a gamer looks like at all.
And it's also interesting. There's social norms within gaming and like things that develop within the culture of gaming. So like, for instance, we were just talking about like that stereotype, but the try hard, the sweater, the people that, you know, don't necessarily fit into the gamer community. And within gaming, there's built systems to report folks that are being toxic, report folks that are like breaking the law, being criminals or anything like that, even just down to cheating, racial slurs, things that don't advance or add to the community in a way that the community collectively feels should be grown.
Yeah, but to counter that, gaming culture is also super toxic. And there is a lot of stuff that we need to shield younger people or even ourselves from, because one of the kids on my son's soccer team, my son fell down and got some dirt on his hand and he was wiping it off. And the kid was like, "Hey, why are you wiping yourself off?" And my son was like, "What? I don't even get it." He's like, "Yeah, the black like your skin." And he was like, "Okay, it's a weird thing to say. Like, I don't even know if you're doing racism right." So he kind of like just like walked away. And then he called him a black monkey and did all this other stuff shy of the N-word. So he told my wife about it. My wife went ahead and at the soccer practice, she said, "No, I'm dealing with this right now." She went and talked to the mother about it. She told the mother about it. The mother went to the boy and said, "Hey, did you say these things?" And the boy said, "Yes." Now she was speaking in Spanish. She doesn't know that my wife is fluent in Spanish. And in Spanish, she was saying, "Why would you say something like that? We don't teach you like that. You don't get that from our house. Your dad's gonna have it in you when he gets home. This is ridiculous." She was very apologetic, right? And she's like, "I'm sorry, don't say things like that." So like a couple days later, she came back to one of the games. Was like, "Hey, my son called your son a B. He said something about his skin, but he never said anything about any racist or monkey stuff." Basically, the son was backpedaling. And so she started putting pressure on my boy and be like, "It's not cool to just misremember stuff and get other people in trouble." And that's when I went off on this lady. I'm like, "Don't try to put pressure on my son like that. I know don't try to do that." Because she was basically trying to twist it around like my son was lying. And my son, he wants everybody to be happy. So he started backing up. And so I said, "I need to talk to the dad." So I got the dad's phone number and I called him up and said, "Hey, I had in with your wife earlier because of this happened. And here was my issue, A, B, and C." I texted him first with everything to let him know where I was coming from. And he called me up and we started talking as men. And he said, I don't know why the hell he would say something like that. "You know what? I think it's Fortnite." And I told my wife this earlier. I said, "Hey, does that kid game?" And my son said, "Yeah, he does." So what does he play? He said he plays Fortnite. I said, "Okay, that's where he's getting it from." Because in the gaming community, there's a lot of racism. To call somebody a nigger in gaming, it's an insult. It's not it is a racial insult, but it's an insult. I've been gaming and people call me a stupid nigger without hearing me talk, without seeing my name or my face. They don't even know I'm black. And you don't like somebody, you call them a nigger because being a nigger is bad. You know what I mean? And it's like that aspect in gaming is something that is horrible. And I don't want to shy away from that, pretend like it's all peaches and cream and stuff like that, because it's super toxic. My son, I tell my kid, turn comms off when you play. He played Valorant and didn't know how to turn comms off. and they lit this kid up. He was crying. He said, I'm never playing this game again. I said, hey, you think I'm playing when I tell y'all to turn these comms off? So, yeah.
I can imagine what went on to that poor kid. Oh my God.
I don't know what they were saying, but he came into my room. You know where my office is? I'm talking about streaming. He had the controller just streaming tears. And I go and I look, and everyone on the team is like stabbing him with the knives.
Oh my God.
Like they can't do any damage to him because it's another thing. It's your own teammates that are being mean to you. And I was like, I wanted to leap through that console and just beat everybody's. But I started laughing a little because, I told you to turn this off. And you can even mute. He muted himself, but he didn't turn them off. So they were talking and cursing at him and saying all kinds of stuff. I didn't even know what they said. But yeah.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I don't play with my comms on, and I haven't, like, in a decade. I don't play with anybody that is not a friend of a friend.
Man.
So I'm never hearing just raw gamer culture.
Oh, it's bad.
I would I would love to get Rebel on Call of Duty, right? And get him to hold on. Hear me out. And get him into a very toxic conversation with someone and just watch him be totally unbothered and calm while the other person is just raging, and everybody's just sitting there listening and wondering who the hell Rebel is, because he is the most unbothered person I've ever met.
Oh man.
You know what it is? Have you seen those like Instagram videos or social media TikToks or whatever where it's like this one person dismantling somebody, whether they're ignorant about politics or other social issues, and the person's, wait, you think this? Tell me what this is. And it's that. But it's that while playing Call of Duty or Destiny or one of these games. So like I'm having to socially educate somebody or debate them while I'm gaming. And that's exhausting for me. I think that's part of why I turned off comms a long time ago. So anybody that I do that to is usually like a friend of a friend or somebody in the gaming crew of somebody that I'm playing with.
Yeah, most of the times I've had it out with people, it's mostly been people in our circle, and not necessarily a violent spat back and forth, but it's like someone will say some really ignorant stuff. And then should I say
but you play with
about it or
more.
not?
You play with actual people you've never met. Like most of the people I play with are people I've met in real life, and that's what I'm saying. I don't make it a habit of playing with strangers.
Oh no, I'm trying to give you my experiences playing with strangers.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple times, and Electric's been on with me where a couple times people be like, oh, you suck as a tank or whatever. And I'm like, dude, okay, we're pretending we're superheroes. That's what we're doing right now. Right? I'm a dad who just wants to blow stuff up for a little bit. That's it. If your whole life is based off of how well you do in this quick play match, I don't know what to tell you. But a lot of times for me, the biggest incidents that I've had as far as like respectability and stuff like that, and toxicity and like just ignorance and sexism, racism, that kind of stuff has actually been for people that I have gamed with, that I've known for a little bit in our community, in our little gaming server, that will just say something that's really stupid or really offensive or really inappropriate. Like we've had an issue like not too long ago where somebody was being super inappropriate to like one of the females in our group. We had issues where we had this one person, bless their heart. I love this person to death. I love them to death, but they're like a super ally. And sometimes allies are like, say some really racist stuff, but they don't really know they're doing that because they think they're being just and stuff. And it's, you know how that works. So I'll take the time to kind of talk with those people and debate, argue, talk with an educator or whatever, because a lot of times those people just don't know. So those are the biggest like moments I've had. Most of like the rage people yelling and cursing, I just ignore, but I don't worry about that stuff. That doesn't happen too often anyway. So
You play with more strangers than I play with.
They're not strangers. A stranger is just a friend you haven't met.
God. Blah.
Nah. Yeah, no. But to that point, like through these games, folks do develop bonds, and it's that whole thing of how do you make friends? And one of the ways that people make friends is through shared struggle. And I can tell you, some of these video games are definitely a struggle, like putting in hours upon hours and tens of hours and sometimes hundreds of hours doing
Thousands
some of
according
these
to
quests
Electric.
and raids.
Jesus.
Yo, Electric, remember the Destiny raids?
Yeah.
Where you would have to set aside, you would have to set up your whole night like, hey, we're gonna meet up at this time to do this raid. And so
Yeah.
everybody like gets their life together so that they can set aside this amount of time so that we can all go on this journey in like this attempt as we vie to be successful in this campaign.
Yeah.
And if we fail, we got to start over. Exactly. We fail, we got to start over. And after a while, it's like when you finally, then it's not easy. It's not programmed to be easy. It's programmed to be very hard. But once you finally succeed, like you feel that camaraderie
Yeah, for real.
with these people that you successfully made, and you get your little loot box and you're happy.
But initially, we talked about how my kids are playing too much video games. Oh, yeah, I got to do other things too. That shared struggle and stuff like that is really good and really positive. But I think to be a well-balanced person, you need to have those coming from multiple sources. And so the kid that doesn't go out and doesn't play sports and they just game and that's their social life, I would say they should probably go touch grass. But I do understand that some people just won't do that or can't do that or have crippling anxiety. So I would rather them find a community there than not find that community at all.
Exactly.
You know, so they have some type of release. So
yeah, man, not everybody's gonna make the team. Not everybody's gonna be able to play sports or have friends outside, or maybe they live in Bumble, whatever, and there is no community for them to like really feel a part of. Like they're the only emo kid in whatever Kansas. So
stop being emo. Do the rap stuff. Go the rap route. Make a mixtape.
All right, guys.
Join the Funky Bunch.
Getting late.
To that point, I feel like we've expressed why.
Are you gonna
gaming is
cut
what it is and how much?
Are you gonna cut the getting late part out?
Yeah, of course
You could have waited, and yes, I will.
He did it last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what are our takeaways here? That since we want to wrap,
Gaming is
I was just gonna
for
let it end naturally.
neurodivergent,
Gaming is for losers.
weirdo
Okay.
losers. Get no puss. And yeah. That's what it's for.
Oh man.
Better there than in the real world.
That's what I learned today.
I'm happy to be. I'm happy to be a part of them. Me and my gaming crew. And we meet up at the conventions. So yeah, given that so many people game, it should be to the point where it's normal. If half of
It is
half of the
stigmatized.
yeah, if half of the population does something, that's pretty normal. So
Half of the population doesn't do it. I'm just saying half of the people that do it are female.
no, 160 million people are gamers, and that's like half.
Yeah. Okay. That's yeah.
So
Mhm. Show.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it's normal, and we have fun. I think that's the point of it. Some people play board games. Some people play sports games. Some people watch professionals play sports games, and some of us play consoles and PC.
And some
Yeah, some people
people
play
binge watch
pretty-
television shows all day, all night.
I
Yo,
watched this.
Game
I
of
watched
Thrones
this
was
reel.
73 episodes.
I watched this reel, and not this reel or something, but this dude asked his son, "Why are you sitting there watching somebody else play video games? Why can't you go?" And he said, "But you sit there and watch people play basketball. You don't play." And I was like, "Yeah,
True story.
true,
Exactly.
true."
Can't be mad at that.
That's exactly the point.
So, hey, real quick. Twitch.tv/EzeAjuju. EZEAJUJU. Go ahead and follow. Put the bell notification on. I stream there every once in a while. I try to get back to doing it as well, too.
Where?
I'll put some of the on Twitch, twitch.tv/EZEAJUJU. That's where I bees.
Bees
Oops.
in the trap. Bees in the trap.
That's where I bees.
No. Yeah, no, I'm giving you your props because, yeah, you can watch him have these conversations that he was talking about in real time.
Shenanigans and yeah.
Or watch us there because sometimes we'll be there too. And it'll be like a lost episode of this here podcast. Speaking of this podcast, we want to thank you all for listening. I think we learned something, but even if not, it was just fun chatting it up. It was entertaining, like video games. This has been the HLS podcast. To that point, late to the party, the podcast that never was, Radical Teddy and Friends. I'm the Rebel Alliance.
I'm your fire safety officer, Scrota.
And this is Electric Thunder.
We'll see you next week.
Look, pause for reaction.
Thank y'all for watching.
Yeah.
Thank y'all
Watching?
for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another. Hey, yo, that game is so good where it's, if you get the references, jokes on jokes.
I'm about to die.
Yeah, let's go.